and welcome to another one of our interviews with our composers and authors from the Colorado Musical Festival for 2023. So excited to have David with us today. Let's just get right into it. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so let's see. So my background is I started out in life as a mathematician, and I was a research mathematician for several years. And then I became a sort of liberal arts teacher for several years. And then I joined a tech company where I've been for a long time that did applications of math to computing. So that's the business life. And I left there several years ago. And I've been writing little plays for probably 20 years. I think the longest one I've ever written is maybe 45 minutes long.
Hmm,
And a couple of short musicals.
I love that. I think the short form storytelling is underutilized. A cool one act is great and wonderful. I'm here for it. Um, what is your show and what is it about?
Okay, well, the title is Dewey Eyed, and Dewey is spelled Dewey, as in Dewey Decimal System. And I guess where the idea arose was just one day, if you look, I don't know why I was looking at this, but let's say you look at the sort of list of all the ways in which, the Dewey Decimal System classifies things. So there's this interesting project. How do you systematically describe everything? Everything has to fit into a slot there. So then I had this idea that, it would be funny to have a kind of rom-com in which the big scene between two people who are kind of nerdy is they express everything by simply reciting entries in the Dewey Decimal System. Okay.
Yep.
So I don't remember what the relevant ones are now, but at a moment of passion, you can say 326.17, and that means something to the other person.
Right.
So then the plot that grew from that is that Ms. Cantabile is a reference librarian, and then Philip Cacciatore comes to her reference desk because he's seeking out a secret. And of course, if it's going to be an opera, and I'm calling it an opera pazza, a stupid opera, uh, or a stupid work, so there have to be all the usual hidden secrets and betrayals and so on and so on, but it's all got to wrap up in 12 or 13 minutes. So,
Love that. Yes. And it's an opera, which is also an underutilized format. Why did you write your show and why do you feel like it's an untold story or untraditional story?
well, I mean, I wrote it just for fun. And I like the idea that the music it's sort of pastiche. There's a habanera, there's some jazzy stuff, and then I thought it would be funny to have some operatic touches where every so often the accompanist tinkles the harpsichord, and you get a little bit of recitative sung in Italian, and then you can make jokes with what the Italian is and what the Italian does or doesn't say, and so that was basically it, just to have fun. And I will say, having listened to a little bit of the music in some of the other shows, this is not as sophisticated as that music. It's pretty straightforward stuff, but I think it's apt for the words, apt for the lyrics. Okay.
It takes all kinds. Most music is four chords. Like, that's awesome. That's also valid. Awesome. The next question I have for you, is why should folks come see one of the showcase performances, with the chunk of your show that we picked? Or actually, we're doing
Because
your whole show because it's short. So your show.
because I hope it will make them laugh. It will be an entertaining 13 minutes or however long it winds up taking. So we've had a couple of stage readings, and then once years ago, well, a few years ago, I went to I don't know if you know the Last Frontier Theater Conference up in Alaska, a big shindig that goes on for a couple of weeks. So I just brought the script, and then they have a fringe in the evening, so we did it at the fringe in the evening, and people enjoyed it. So that's why they should come. It will not change their lives. It will not exhibit any deep truth. Okay.
It's an escape, which is also valid. I love that. Also, an underrated use of theater sometimes. Love it. What are your show's next steps? Like, what would you like to see next for your show?
Well, this is for a tiny little musical, there aren't a whole lot of venues. There are a few places that do look for short musicals. So those are the sorts of things to try. Um, when we've done it here, we've done it. I've only ever done it as sort of concert readings, okay,
Right.
and little shows around here where there will be half a dozen short plays in an evening. We'll do that. Right? So it would be nice to see it actually fully done, but that's you know that's a big ask. I don't know if that will ever happen. Okay.
I mean, I know for like high schools, especially for ThesCon, like here in Denver, they do like schools can bring like short one acts. And I know like one year kids did Lin Manuel Miranda's something Jump Street. It's the Jump Street
Mm-hmm.
pun, 21 Jump Street. That's what it is. Did that and it was really popular. And so I know at least in the high school realm, short musicals to take to like competitions is like a thing.
Okay.
So it might be worth
Yeah. Okay.
investigating.
That's good to think about. I mean, I haven't looked at that partly because, I mean, there's a huge sort of theater for young audiences. That's a huge market,
Right.
but I never think of myself as writing for that. And I guess I've got one or two things that might be suitable. So I guess I should probably pursue those.
I mean, one of the biggest markets for shows after they hit Broadway is the licensing, right? And 90% of licensing is schools and or colleges. And so it's a huge chunk of, I mean, like the author for Almost Maine, I saw like a thing with him at a conference forever ago. And he was saying, he's like, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you theater teachers because you're the ones who, helped me make a living because almost all of his licensing is high schools doing Almost Maine. Like, which is just yeah, kind of crazy. And so it's a case of like if a show is appropriate for high school or college, like that's a great place to be like, look, here's a tiny little musical, here's a little play for you to do for a one act festival or whatever. And especially, schools that don't have a lot of money, like being able to work with them on licensing and being able to work on like what that looks like, I think can be scary for some teachers, but I know like for me when I was teaching, like I was always really stoked about like let's do something new and interesting and different myself. But,
Well, that's a good thought. I should pursue that because it never really occurs to me to pursue those markets.
yep, nope. Yeah, well, and that's where I've lived for so long. And what's funny is the show I wrote is not appropriate for high school, so I am bad at finding the other side of it. So I'm good at thinking about high school and college, but not beyond that. Um, Next similar question. Why do you think Colorado theater should produce your show following this workshopping process? Like, why do you think somebody should do it here?
I guess for the same reason that I thought people should come and see it. That it's just a fun experience, and those are okay to have. Not everything has to be about life and death, right?
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yep. And then what other shows are you looking forward to seeing more from in the festival?
I haven't had a chance to see very many of them, so I don't have a good answer for that. I mean, I listened to a bit of Joel Knopf's thing, the one about the last Ibex. So I heard that, and I really haven't had much of a chance to hear the others. So
That's fair. That is valid. Is there anything else you'd like to add or share with our audience folk who are looking at this in the festival?
not a lot. I'm afraid I should have mentioned I can't be there. Okay,
That's okay.
unfortunately. So it would be nice. It would be nice to meet people, but I'll be. I have a bad back, so I've been stuck here in upstate New York, not being able to travel too much for the last month or so. I mean, that'll be over shortly, but it won't be over in time to come and see you guys.
That's totally fair. Totally fair. And we will post everything up on the YouTube channel so that
Oh,
folks who are not around can see it.
that
Um,
would be good. Yeah, I will. If I get that link, I have my mailing list of a few hundred people, so I'll send the
Dope.
link out.
Yeah, definitely. We will. Yeah, we record it and then we'll chuck it up on the channel that this is going on, so people can check it out who were not there, who didn't realize it was happening, or couldn't be here. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time and your talents, and looking forward to seeing your little opera on its feet in Denver.
Okay, thanks for the chat. Bye bye.
Awesome. Thanks.